Good evening, listeners. You're tuned in to Station 7, your trusted voice in the night. It's a quiet one out there. No major news, no late breaking disasters, just another slow evening. The kind we don't get enough of these days. For those of you just joining, let's do a quick rundown. The weather, mild. A crisp breeze rolling in from the north, but nothing to worry about. Traffic, light. If you're out on the road, you've got an open highway ahead. And for the night owls, we've got a playlist coming up that'll keep you company till the sun peaks over the horizon. Now, before we dive into tonight's stories, let's check in with our regulars, late shift workers, long haul drivers, insomniacs. Wherever you are, you know the drill. Call in. Tell me what's on your mind. We'll keep each other company. You ever notice how some nights just feel different? Like the air's a little thicker, like there's something just out of reach waiting for you to notice it. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just one of those nights. All right, let's take our first caller. Hold on, what was that? Did anyone else hear that just now? There was a break, just a second of static, but not like the usual interference, almost rhythmic. Might just be the station acting up. It happens. Let's take a call. We've got Tony from Whitmore on the line. What's up, Tony? Hey, not much, man. Just out on a delivery. But listen, something's messing with my radio. It keeps cutting out. Only on your station, though. Every other channel's fine. That's so? That's weird. Could be atmospheric conditions. Sometimes weird. Weather can mess with transmissions. Except the sky's clear, and it's been happening for the past 15 minutes. Huh. All right, let's see if anyone else is noticing this. Call in, folks. Let me know if you're getting strange interference. Hold on. There it is again, a burst of static. If I didn't know any better, I'd say it sounded almost like a voice. All right, I don't like this. We're getting reports now. Listeners from different parts of the city saying their radios are glitching, tuning to empty frequencies on their own. Here's Sarah from downtown. Sarah, what's going on? I don't know. I was listening to you, and then it just shifted. It was this low, humming sound, like something was vibrating through the radio. It stopped when I changed stations, but when I turned it back to you, it happened again. And you didn't touch the dial? Number. And my clock, my kitchen clock, it stopped. Right at the moment the radio cut out. Anyone else? Greg from Oakview, you're on. Yeah, I'm a trucker. Been on the road all night. Heard the same thing. My radio cut to static, then this weird sound, almost like a whisper. Thought I was imagining it, but now I don't think so. More calls are coming in. Same reports. Static, humming, whispers, clock stopping. Okay, I'll be honest. This is starting to freak me out. If you're listening, if you're experiencing this, stay on the line. Because I think something is happening. And I don't think it's just the radio. All right, I need everyone listening to weigh in on this because I'm trying to make sense of what's happening. We've had calls about radio interference, clock stopping, strange humming sounds. But now, it's not just the radios acting up. Reports are coming in from all over the city. Birds flying in chaotic patterns, circling in dense flocks before scattering all at once. Not just pigeons, but entire groups of crows, seagulls, even sparrows. Some people are saying they're slamming into windows like they can't tell up from down. And it's not just the birds. Electronics, your phones, your televisions, even your car dashboards are flickering, shutting down at random. Got a call earlier from a guy out in Fairmont. Said his car just died in the middle of the street. No power, no lights, nothing. He had to push it off the road. 10 minutes later, it started back up again, like nothing ever happened. I don't know what's causing this, but it's spreading. A listener just messaged in, said their GPS started rerouting them to roads that don't exist. Another says their phone's autocorrect keeps changing words to something unreadable. Listen, I don't want to sound alarmist, but if you're experiencing anything strange, Call in. Tell me what you're seeing. We need to figure this out. Wait, hold on. The station just cut out for a second. Did anyone else hear that? Okay, something just happened. The station went dead for about 5 seconds. No static, no interference, just pure silence. And when it came back, an emergency alert hijacked the frequency. I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't like the usual government alerts. There was no beeping, no clear instructions, just a voice, distorted, layered, and broken. It was repeating something, words but not in full sentences. I could only catch fragments before it cut out. Not alone. Containment breached. Stay inside. Then static. And then something else. A sound underneath the static. A low, warped frequency, like something pressing against the air itself. I felt it in my chest. Not heard, but felt. If anyone else got that alert, if you heard something clearer than I did, please call in. Tell me what it said. People are messaging me, saying it hit every station at once, not just mine, not just local, every single station. Something's wrong, and I don't think we're supposed to know about it. We interrupt this program to bring you breaking news. Reports are coming in of a massive, unexplained blackout, spreading across multiple regions. I don't even know how to process this. Just moments ago, we received confirmation that Newport, East Ridge, and Fairmont have all lost power. Entire cities gone dark. If you're listening right now and still have power, I need you to call in. Tell us what you're seeing, what's happening around you, because from what I'm gathering, this isn't just a grid failure. It's something else. Government officials haven't released a statement yet, but something doesn't add up. This isn't following the usual pattern of an infrastructure failure. The outages aren't spreading in a logical sequence. They're jumping. 1 minute, everything's fine. The next, total blackout. I just got a message from a listener in Briarwood saying the streetlights there flickered erratically for a full minute before shutting off completely. And then their phone reset itself. Every contact wiped. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how far this will spread. But right now, I need you all to do something. If you still have power, keep listening. Stay with me, because if this reaches us, hold on. We just lost signal from the national news feed. I'm still here. We're still broadcasting, but I don't know for how much longer. Everything's falling apart faster than I can report it. We've lost contact with several news affiliates. Their signals just vanished. No static, no interference, just silence. Callers are flooding the lines, some reporting entire neighborhoods blacking out in an instant, others describing something even stranger. Lights behaving erratically before failing, shadows moving where they shouldn't be. A trucker on Route 16 just called in, said he watched the entire downtown grid blink out all at once, not a gradual shutdown. 1 second, bright neon signs. The next, pitch black. Another caller from Riverside claims car alarms all went off at the exact same time and then, just as suddenly, stopped. People are panicking. Looting has started in some areas. There's talk of military vehicles moving in, but no official response yet. I don't know how much longer we'll be on the air, but I'll stay as long as I can. Because something tells me this is only the beginning. If you're just tuning in, we're still on the air. For now. I don't know what's happening out there, but the calls, my God, the calls. People are panicking. Stores are being emptied. The power outages are spreading too fast for emergency services to respond. In some areas, there's no law, no order, just silence, broken by distant sirens that never seem to get closer. A listener in Red Hollow says they saw figures moving in the dark. Not looters, not police, just people standing still, watching. Then, when the lights flickered for a split second, they were gone. I don't know if I believe that, but something is wrong. Another caller, Nathan from Oak Ridge, he was at a gas station when the pumps shut off, says he saw a group break into the station, shoving each other, fighting over food like animals. When he tried to leave, he noticed something. The wind had stopped. No movement, no sound, like the world itself had been put on pause. And then the lights cut out. If you're still listening, stay inside if you can. The streets aren't safe. And I don't mean just because of the looting. Something else is happening. Hold on. Breaking report coming in. Military convoys have been spotted on the highways. We've just received multiple reports. Convoys of military vehicles are moving through major highways, heading toward the affected cities. But here's the thing. No sirens, no announcements, no orders for evacuation. They're just moving. A caller from Ashbury says he saw dozens of unmarked trucks rolling in. No visible insignia, no identification. Soldiers in full gear, but no one speaking to the public. Another listener, Daniel from Westfield, says he tried flagging one of them down, but the soldier inside didn't even look at him, just stared straight ahead as if he was waiting for something. I'm getting messages from all over. These convoys aren't following normal protocol. They're stationing themselves at key locations, bridges, major intersections, power stations, but they're not engaging. The last time something like this happened was during the outbreak scare 5 years ago. But even then, there were official statements, coordinated lockdowns. This time, nothing. A listener just called in. Signal was weak, voice was shaking, said he saw something behind the military vehicles. A long, dark shape, moving with them. Not a machine, not a vehicle. And when he blinked, it was gone. I don't know what to believe anymore, but the silence from the government is deafening. And if they're not telling us what's going on, then maybe they're afraid of it too. I don't even know how to say this. If you've been listening since the beginning of the night, you know my producer, Caleb. He's been here with me through this whole thing, taking calls, running the board, making sure we stay on the air. But now, he's gone. 1 second, I was talking to him. The next, silence. His chair is empty. His mic is still on, but there's nothing, just static. Like the room itself swallowed him whole. I thought maybe he just stepped out. Maybe he went to check something, but I called his phone. No answer. I checked the station's back room. Empty. The front doors, still locked from the inside. He didn't leave. He vanished. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what to do. I've been telling you all to stay inside, to stay safe. But Caleb was inside. He was safe. And now he's gone. If anyone else out there has experienced something like this, if someone you were just talking to suddenly wasn't there anymore, please call in, because I don't think Caleb is coming back. All right, I have a caller on the line. He says he's a scientist, says he knows what's happening. His voice is shaking. I can barely make out what he's saying through the interference, but listen, just listen. This isn't natural. He's breathing fast, like he's been running. I ask him what he means. What's happening? Is this a power grid failure? A government operation? Number no, you don't understand. It's not supposed to be possible. The static is growing worse. His voice keeps cutting in and out. He says something about an event, something that was activated. Containment failed. Those words. Containment failed. The line goes dead. That's it. No name, no details. Just a voice in the dark saying this should never have happened. And I think we were never supposed to know. I don't know how to explain this, but it's quiet. Too quiet. If you've ever lived in a city, you know there's always noise, traffic, people, sirens in the distance, the low hum of life, even in the dead of night. But now, nothing. I stepped outside the station a few minutes ago just to see for myself. The streets, empty, no headlights, no movement, no wind. It's like the city itself has stopped breathing. I just got a call from Lena in Westport. She says she stood on her balcony looking out over the skyline, and for the first time in her life, she couldn't hear a single car horn. Not one. Another listener, Devon from Ashbury, says the silence isn't just outside. His house feels different. He said he walked into his kitchen and he could hear his own heartbeat, like the world around him had been padded with something unseen, muffling everything except the sound inside his own head. It's not just power outages anymore. Something bigger is happening. I want you to do something for me. Step outside. Open a window. Do you hear anything? Any sound at all? Because if you don't, we need to talk. Hold on. I've got a call coming in. The signal is weak, but the caller is whispering. I can barely hear him. His voice is shaking. He says he's calling from a bunker somewhere beneath the city. They're already here. I ask him who. Who's here? He doesn't answer right away. I can hear his breath catching, like he's afraid to say it out loud. I thought I was safe down here. I locked the doors. But they found me anyway. The static on the line is getting worse. His words keep cutting in and out, like something is trying to block the signal. It's not what we thought. It's not a blackout. It's not the government. The line goes dead. And then, for just a second, I swear I hear something else. Not a voice, not static. Something breathing. I don't know how much longer we can call this paranoia. More and more calls are coming in, and they all say the same thing. Something is out there, watching, moving. A listener from Oak Hill swears he saw a figure standing outside his house, just beyond the streetlights. He blinked, and it was gone. But the imprint of it was still there, burned into his vision like he'd been staring at something too bright for too long. Another caller, Maggie from Halstead, says she's been hearing whispers, not from her radio, from inside her own house. She thought it was the pipes at first, or the wind, but then the voices started saying her name. She's not the only one. People are reporting glimpses of shapes in the dark, figures just on the edge of sight. Some describe a shadow standing motionless in the corner of their room, vanishing the moment they focus on it. Others say they feel it in the air, like a presence pressing down on them, thick and heavy. And the worst part, none of them feel afraid while it's happening. They only realize something was wrong after it's gone. It's as if something is keeping them calm, as if it wants them to let their guard down. Hold on, I just lost signal for a second. Something's cutting in. There's something in the signal. For the last few seconds, the station's been hit with waves of interference, but this isn't normal static. It's layered, like voices whispering over each other. I don't know if you can hear it on your end, but I think I can make out words. It's repeating. Fragments, pieces. Not alone. Stay inside. Do not look. And then something else. A word or a phrase in a language I don't recognize. It's low, stretched out, like a voice speaking from somewhere it shouldn't be. I don't know how, but I feel it. Like it wasn't meant to be heard. And now that I think it knows I'm listening. I don't know how to do this. I've been getting messages all night. Texts, voicemails, people trapped, people begging for help. I've read some of them on air, but they keep coming. Too many. Here's one from David in Fairmont, sent 20 minutes ago. Is anyone else still out there? The power's gone. The streets are empty. I tried knocking on my neighbor's door. No answer. There were people here yesterday. Where did they go? I've got another one from Elias in Red Hollow. Please, somebody. I locked the doors, but I can hear them moving outside. I don't know if they're people. I don't think they are. No response after that. Just silence. One more. Monica from Halstead. If anyone hears this, I'm in the Riverview Apartments. 4th floor. I can see shadows moving in the hallway, but there's no sound. No footsteps. Just shapes. They don't move like us. Please, That's where it cuts off. I don't know what to say. If you're out there, if you're listening, you are not alone. Stay with me. Keep listening. Because I think, hold on. We have a caller, a child, crying. Hello, mister? I can barely hear her. She sounds young, maybe 5, 6 years old. I ask her name. She doesn't answer right away. I hear sniffling, a shaky breath. Then, my parents won't wake up. My mouth goes dry. I ask her where she is. Home, I think, but the windows are wrong. I don't know what that means. I ask if she can describe what she sees. The sky looks broken. The static on the line is getting worse. I tell her to stay where she is, to keep talking, but she whispers something, so soft I almost don't hear it. I think someone's in the house. And then, silence. The line goes dead. The government has finally spoken. Just minutes ago, an emergency press conference was broadcast across all channels. No reporters, no questions, just a single rehearsed message read by a visibly tense official. We are aware of the current situation and are actively working to restore normalcy. Please remain indoors. Emergency response units are being deployed. Everything is under control. That was it. No mention of the disappearances, no explanation for the blackout, the whispers, the static cutting through the airwaves. No acknowledgement of the things people claim to have seen lurking in the dark. I've played it back 3 times now, listening for something, anything that makes sense, but there's nothing, just empty words. A listener, Daniel from Westport, messaged in. He noticed something strange. The official's voice, it never wavered. No natural pauses, no signs of hesitation. Like a recording, but spoken aloud. Another message. Emily from Red Hollow. She says the exact same statement aired in her area, but the lips of the official weren't moving in sync with the audio. It's like the words weren't his, like someone or something was speaking through him. I need you all to listen carefully. Some of you have already picked up on it. The emergency message wasn't normal. It wasn't just vague, it was wrong. A listener sent me a slowed down version of the broadcast, and what we found, it's disturbing. Certain words, control, restore, remain indoors, they have an unnatural echo, a layered distortion beneath them, like a second voice speaking at the same time just below the surface, but it gets worse. Another listener, Tom from Ashton, says he recorded the entire speech and ran it backward, and underneath the static, he swears he heard a phrase. It has already begun. I don't know what to make of this, but the more I listen, the more I feel like this wasn't meant for us. It wasn't a warning. It was a script, a controlled statement fed through a voice that may not even be human, and if that's the case, then who or what is really in control? The government is lying. We all suspected it, but now we have proof. I just received a message from an anonymous source, a document, confidential. It's dated 3 days ago, before the blackouts, before the panic. And it doesn't say containable situation. It says uncontrolled event, no protocol available. I'm staring at it right now, stamped with an official insignia, redacted names, classified markings. This wasn't meant for us. It outlines a breakdown scenario. Mentions Phase 1, power disruption. Phase 2, civil unrest. Phase 3, full system collapse. But the most disturbing part? The final line. Phase 4, arrival. What does that mean? Arrival of what? I don't know if I should even be reading this on air. I don't know if I'm putting myself at risk, but people need to hear this. Because while officials are telling us to stay calm, their own documents admit they have no control. They knew something was coming, and they let it happen. And now, we're on our own. If you can still hear me, you're lucky. Because we are losing everything. For the past hour, I've been getting messages about phone networks failing, internet services crashing. At first, it was small, dropped calls, unstable connections. But now, whole regions are going dark. A listener in Bayfield says her Wi-Fi cut out midstream, then her cell service vanished completely. No warnings, just gone. Another report from Jackson Heights. Landlines aren't even giving dial tones anymore. It's like they were never connected at all. And here's the part that chills me. This is coordinated. Normally, when a network fails, it's chaotic. Different areas drop at different times. Some services stay up longer than others. But this, it's systematic. Like someone or something is shutting us down. And now, radio is the last thing left. If you're listening to this, stay with me, because soon we might be the only ones still talking. I don't know who's still listening. I don't know how much longer I can even do this. But I just got a call, and you need to hear this. The man on the line wouldn't give his name. His voice was low, shaking, but not with fear. With urgency. He says he worked in intelligence, that he was part of a project that never officially existed. We knew, he says. We saw the warnings years ago. We ran simulations, and we ignored every single one. I ask him, ignored what? He hesitates. Then, it wasn't supposed to happen yet. That phrase, wasn't supposed to happen yet. Like this was on a schedule. Like it was planned. He says they found something buried deep in the Arctic ice, a structure that shouldn't have been there. Something older than human civilization. A signal started transmitting from it 3 days ago. And then, the world started unraveling. I ask him, what does this have to do with the blackouts, the disappearances? We triggered something, he whispers, and now it knows we're here. The line cuts to static. Then, nothing. Like he was never there. And then, another message comes in. Not a call. Not a voice. A text. One sentence. Stop broadcasting. You're making things worse. That's it. No sender. No number. Just those words. I don't even know what that means. Worse for who? Is this a warning? A threat? Or something else? I try to reply, but it won't send. Then, another message. Just one word this time. Listen. And the station flickers with static. For a moment, I swear, I hear something underneath it, not a voice, not words, just breathing. Deep. Slow. Like something is waiting. And I don't think it's human. I just got a call. The man on the other end says he's a scientist. I won't say his name. He doesn't want me to. His voice is shaking. Not panicked. Controlled, but barely. Like someone trying to hold back the truth. Listen to me, he says. This isn't natural. I ask him what he means. The blackout, the interference, the disappearances, none of it is random. Something was activated. That word, activated. I press him for more. What was activated? We've been listening to it for years, he says. Signals, buried in the background noise of the universe. We thought they were just cosmic echoes. But then, something changed. I can hear his breathing pick up. 3 days ago, the frequency shifted. The pattern wasn't random anymore. It was responding. I ask him, responding to what? There's a long silence. To us. Static flares for a second, cutting out his voice. When he comes back, he's whispering now. We triggered something, and now it knows we're here. Before I can say anything else, he hangs up. And for the first time since this started, I feel cold, because that didn't sound like a warning. It sounded like a realization. Since that call, I've been getting messages, speculation, theories, desperate attempts to make sense of what's happening. Some say it's a failed experiment, that the government was playing with something beyond our understanding, and now it's breaking through. Others say this wasn't a failure at all, that this was deliberate. An event scheduled and executed, and now spiraling out of control. But then there's another theory, one that feels different. A listener, Greg from Rivertown, says he recognized the frequency shift the scientist mentioned. He says he's heard something like it before, not on a government signal, not in a lab, but in ancient texts. He says certain forgotten civilizations wrote about a sound that wasn't meant to be heard, a signal that once discovered would wake something that had been waiting. We weren't supposed to find it, his message says, but we did, and now it's awake. I don't know what to think anymore, because science is failing to explain this, and something older than science might already have the answer. Something is happening out there. It started as a few scattered reports, people gathering in the streets, kneeling, whispering prayers. But now, it's everywhere. I just got a call from Devin in Fairmont. He says the roads are filling up with crowds of people all chanting the same phrase over and over. He doesn't recognize the language, but he says it sounds old. Another listener, Maria from Ashton, says she saw a group lining the sidewalks, holding candles, faces turned toward the sky. They weren't moving, just staring, waiting. I don't know what to make of this. Some say they've had visions. Others claim they woke up knowing things they shouldn't know. Symbols, words, entire histories that no one ever taught them. But here's the part that's making my skin crawl. They all describe the same thing. It's coming back. That's what they say. That's what they're chanting. The return. Return of what? A listener, Father James, a priest from Westbridge, called in, his voice shaking. This is older than religion itself, he says. Before gods, before men, there was something else, something that ruled before us. And now it remembers. A caller just sent a recording. It's the chanting. It's getting louder. Something is wrong with the sky. A listener in Briarwood just called. He swears the sun set twice tonight. Said it dipped below the horizon, then rose again for just a few minutes before vanishing. Another report from Red Hollow. Someone saw the moon split in two, then stitch itself back together like it never happened. I don't know how to explain this. People are saying shadows aren't behaving normally, that they stretch too far, twist in directions that don't match the light source. A trucker on Route 6 says his headlights hit a man standing in the road, except his shadow stretched straight up into the sky, and time itself is falling apart. One caller, Angie from Riverview, says her watch stopped for exactly 6 minutes, then skipped forward an entire hour. Another listener says he stepped outside for what felt like a few seconds. When he went back in, his family said he'd been gone all day. The sky isn't just changing. Reality is breaking. And whatever's returning, it's almost here. Something happened in Hollow Creek. I just got a call from Mason, a listener who's been traveling with a small group of survivors. He says they found something they weren't supposed to see. They were looking for shelter when they came across an old church, abandoned for years. But inside, they found symbols carved into the floor. Not words, not pictures, something older. At first, they thought it was just vandalism, but then one of them recognized the markings. A woman in their group, Eleanor, a historian. She started shaking. This isn't random, she told them. This is a warning. I asked Mason what she meant. These symbols, they match ancient texts. Cultures that were never supposed to have met. Civilizations that were separated by continents, by time. And yet, they all warned of the same thing. A return, a cycle. The symbols, she said, weren't just warnings. They were instructions. She traced them with her fingers, reading them aloud. When the sky fractures, when the echoes call back, do not look for them. Do not answer, hide, or be unmade. I don't know what that means. I don't know what happened next. Because the call cut out. And now? Now, I'm wondering if that was his warning to us. I don't know how to explain this. I was going through old station archives, looking for past emergency broadcasts, trying to find anything that could help us understand this. And I found a recording. It's from 1952, a government address that was never aired. It was buried in the system, mislabeled, forgotten, until now. The voice on the tape, it's shaking. A man, speaking in hushed tones, like he's afraid of being heard. If this happens, he says, there is no escape. The tape glitches. There's a pause. Then, we were told it was a myth. We were wrong. Another distortion. A sharp breath. Then one final sentence. If they return, do not run. Do not fight. Just pray they do not notice you. The tape ends. I don't know what to say. I don't know if this was always meant to happen, or if we just took too long to listen. I don't know if I'm still here. The studio, it's flickering. 1 second, everything is solid. The desk, the microphone, the dim red glow of the recording light. Then nothing, not darkness, not emptiness, just absence. Like this place was never built. Like I was never here at all. And the static, it's louder now. Not just in my headphones. Not just over the airwaves. In my head. I don't know how to explain this. I looked down at my hands a moment ago and they weren't there. Not invisible. Not fading. Just gone. And then, as soon as I noticed it, they came back. Like my mind had to force reality to remember me. I don't know if you can still hear me. I don't know if I'm talking into a dead frequency, sending my words into nothingness. But if you're still there, tell me. Call in. Send a message. Something. Because I think I'm slipping. And I don't know how much longer I can hold on. The station isn't real anymore. Or maybe it never was. The air feels heavy. Thick. Like something is pressing down on this place. Like something is watching. And the static, remember that's not static anymore. It's breathing. And it's getting closer. The phone lines, they won't stop ringing. I've been begging for a sign that someone's still out there. But now, I don't know if I want to answer. Because the voices, they aren't right. I picked up the first call, and for a second I thought it was normal. A woman, crying, gasping for breath. She said she'd been hiding in her basement for hours. But then she stopped, mid-sentence. And then, her voice changed. Not just her tone, everything. Her words started overlapping like 2, 3, maybe more voices were speaking at once. The same phrases, but slightly off. Like an echo that wasn't an echo at all. We hear you. We hear you. We hear you. I hung up. But then another call came in. And another. And another. Every single one was wrong. Some voices were too deep. Too hollow. Like they were coming from a place where sound shouldn't exist. Others were too familiar. I swear, one of them sounded like me. And then they started laughing. Not normal laughter. Empty. Hollow. Too synchronized. I pulled the plug on the lines, but they're still ringing. Even though they're not connected to anything anymore. I don't know who I am anymore. Because these aren't my memories. I was sitting here, hands on the desk, trying to catch my breath. And then I saw something. Not like a hallucination. Not like a dream. It was real. For a moment, I was standing in a house I've never been in before. There was a woman in the kitchen, humming softly, a child laughing in another room. I could smell coffee, fresh bread. It felt warm, familiar, like home. But I don't have a family. I've never lived in that house. And then, it was gone, and I was somewhere else. A desert beneath a black sun. A city with no windows, no doors, a sky filled with things that had too many eyes. I could hear chanting in a language I've never learned but somehow understood. And then I was back. In the studio. Hands still on the desk. Heart pounding. I think something is inside my head. And I think it's remembering through me. The static is changing. It's not random anymore. Not just background noise. It's speaking. At first, I thought it was my mind playing tricks on me. After everything tonight, how could it not be? But then I started listening, really listening. And beneath the crackling, beneath the distortion, I heard it. A voice. It didn't sound like a person. Not fully. Not anymore. It was layered, fractured, like 1,000 whispers crumbling into one. And it said, "We were never alone." Just that, over and over. A whisper buried beneath the waves, like something speaking from the other side of a broken signal. I don't know who or what is saying it. I don't know if it's a warning or a reminder or a confession. But the more I listen, the more I feel like we weren't supposed to hear this. Like something was always here, always watching, always waiting. And now it doesn't have to wait anymore. The signal is stronger, clearer. The static isn't just noise, it's a door. And we left it open. I don't know how much longer I can broadcast. I don't even know if this station exists in the way it used to. The walls flicker. My voice echoes back at me from somewhere it shouldn't. But if you can still hear this, remember, we were never alone. And whatever's been waiting, it's finally here. Something came through the transmission. Not from me, from somewhere else. It started as a burst of static, different from the others. Not violent, not broken, soft, gentle, almost like it was waiting for me to listen. And then, a voice, a woman, calm, steady, no fear, no panic, just acceptance. "It's beautiful," she says. Not a scream, not a warning, just a statement. "Don't be afraid." I don't know who she is. I don't know where she's calling from, but I know she isn't here anymore. Her voice fades in and out like she's speaking from somewhere else, somewhere beyond this. I can hear something in the background, a sound I can't describe. Not music, not words. It feels alive. And then she speaks again. "You don't have to run, it's already here." I can't tell if she's comforting me or warning me. I play the message back again and again. Each time her voice gets softer, like she's fading away. And then the message disappears, gone, not deleted, not cut off, just erased, like it was never there. And I think I finally understand. I don't know if anyone's still out there. I don't know if I'm still here. But if you can hear me, this is it. I have spent every second of this broadcast trying to make sense of what's happening, looking for answers, looking for hope. But maybe there were never supposed to be answers. Maybe we were never meant to understand. I can feel it now. The weight of something pressing down, the air humming with a presence I can't describe. And I think it's listening. I don't feel afraid anymore. I don't feel anything, just quiet. I take a breath and I speak. If you can still hear me, know this. And then the signal cuts. And just like that, the signal is gone. No final answer, no explanation, just silence. But maybe that's the point. Maybe some questions were never meant to be answered. Maybe some truths exist just outside our understanding, waiting in the spaces between what we see and what we refuse to believe. Maybe, just maybe, we were never alone to begin with. But here's the real question. What would you do if you were the last voice on the air? If the world had gone quiet, if reality itself was slipping away, would you keep speaking? Would you hold on? Or would you listen to the whispers and the static and let go? Let me know in the comments, what would you do? And if you've made it this far, stay connected. Subscribe for more broadcasts like this, because in a world where signals flicker and voices fade, we need to keep listening to each other. And if this story unsettled you, share it with someone, a friend, a family member. Maybe the static hasn't reached them yet. Maybe there's still time. Until next time, if there is a next time, stay safe, stay listening, and remember, we were never alone.